Now, Leonel, as you know that we have done this chapter in the last class. Okay. So we have learned all the gates with their truth table, and two universal gates we have already learned, NAND and NOR. NAND
Yes,
means
ma'am.
not and NOR means not or. So it will always give you the opposite impact. Okay. And why we are saying exclusive OR gate? Because we can generate the another type of logic circuits with the help of these two types of gates.
Okay, ma'am.
Now give me the answer of these questions which you have observed on the screen. State whether the following statement are true or false. Binary works on two states.
True. On 0 and 1.
Yes, this is true. 1 second. This is true. Now next is what? On state is represented by 0.
F. False, false.
Yes, on state always be represented by 1. The NOR gate represent the complement of the OR operation. Yes,
Complement
that is
means
true.
reverse, right?
Yes, it will give the complement of that, not
so
OR.
complement.
Yeah, reverse operation. You can see here. Right.
Yes.
1 second.
The word complement means reverse, right? That's what I wanted to ask.
Yeah.
Okay, then. And the
Now
others
look
I
at the,
understood.
yes, Leonel.
No, I understood that answer.
Okay. The binary number system is a system of 2 digits, 0 and 1.
True.
Yes, that is true. Now give me the answer of next question. 1 equals to 0 and 1.
False.
False. Yes. Now this question we have, this chapter we have done. Terminal exercise you will do by yourself.
Okay,
I have
ma'am.
already uploaded all the study material in your resource section, as you can see in the last class. I have
Yes,
done.
ma'am.
Now let's start the chapter number 4. Okay. As
Okay.
chapter number 3, I think so we have done.
Yes, chapter number 3 we finished.
1
Chapter
second.
number 4. No, ma'am, we have to start the DBMS.
We need to start DBMS.
Yes.
Okay.
Then after that, we have to complete C++ last chapter.
Okay.
This is done. Chapter
This
3.
done.
Chapter 3 is that which chapter is it? Computer software, right?
Yeah.
That is that.
I think so. There are 2 chapters left. Pointer chapter we have done. Pointers.
Pointers we finished. We had to complete the last chapter C++.
File handling.
Yes, file handling.
Files.
Yes.
Yeah, file handling.
That
And
you had said
DBMS are left, right?
yeah, that you had said you will
So,
finish after DBMS file handling.
okay. Now, as you can see on the screen, this is your chapter number 3 regarding your database management system. Okay. So before understanding all these terms, can you tell me, Leonel, what is data in your sense, as you have learned a lot in this subject? What is data?
Data is information that is stored in a computer.
Okay.
And the information can be anything like marks obtained, weight, height, age, number system, etc.
Okay. Now, what is information in your sense?
Information is What to share?
Okay. Information is something like when we process the data, actually data is anything which is randomly we can pick, okay, which is unorganized, we can say that. But when we process that data, right, when we manage that data in a systematic order, right, after the arrangement in a systematic order, that data will not be the data, it will be processed data. And processed data always be naming with what? Your information. Are you getting my point? Right? So this is about your data and information. So never mix these two terms. Now you can see here, basically, if computer are used for what? Computer always used to process data. You can feed data into the computer by the input device. We can feed the data, give instruction in the form of programs. Obviously, we are doing the programming with the help of C++ programming. What we are going to do? We are giving some instructions, right? To do what? To execute certain real life scenario problem. So to process the data, okay, computer can process the data by following specified instruction. Computer are able to process data at extremely high speeds. There are lots and lots of data which are processed by computer. For easy and efficient processing of data, it is necessary that the data is stored in an organized way. There are specialized software called database management systems, okay, which facilitate organized storage of data. Are you getting my point? Now here you can see that terminology. To understand the concept of database management system, you must be familiar with a few terms which are given below. One is what? Database, right? So the first term is database. Database, basically, when you will collect the data randomly, you will organize your data somewhere and you have to keep, right, that organized data somewhere into the memory or any other location. So that is what? That prime location is your database, where your data is systematically organized and placed. Okay. So a database is what? An organized collection of data. From daily life, we can take many examples of simple databases. A few are an index of a book. Obviously, when you are going to read a book, how can you mark up the pages that till this page I read this section? You will give some markup now. You can check out some index area. So what is this? This is the database in itself. In telephone directory, classifieds add in a newspaper. More complex examples include registers containing data of students in a school, data of employees in a big organization. What is this? This is database. Okay, it's a group of data on which you can apply so many types of operations to filter that data, to organize that data, to manage from one side to another side data, to transfer the data. Okay, so needs of computerized data. How can we use that term? Organization of data in the computer, because we can do and we can pop up so many types of disadvantage of manual data. Okay, so need of computerized database is what? Database can be organized manually and using computer. When the database are organized manually, some problems creep in frequently. Obviously, these problems are, first of all, if you will manually operate something or organize something at different location, there might be a chances to duplicacy of the data. Okay, obviously, by mistake, you can enter the single entry twice on two different location. So this is what? This is a straightforward the duplicacy of data. So redundancy is what? Having multiple copies of the same data. For example, a student's name is written in the office records as well as in the class teacher's records is what? Redundancy leads to inconsistency. Okay. Now here you can see that inconsistency is what? Having multiple mismatching copies of the same data is what? For example, if a student's section changes from A to B, this change is recorded in class teacher registers, but not in office register. Okay. Loss of integrity is what? Integrity means having consistent, valid data all the time. Data consistency is also kind of data integrity. Okay. Data integrity also include having valid data only. For example, if there are 4 sections A, B, C, D of a class, but a student section is recorded as something other than these, then it is an example of loss of integrity. Okay, right? Obviously, there is an example of data integrity. Now, data insecurity. In the manual databases, now there are a lot of chances to lost your data. Unauthenticatedly, your data has been used by somebody else who are not authenticate person, right? That means stealing of the data, right? Chances of stealing of data are higher in manual data. So manual database can be secured physically, but cannot secured against unauthenticate data alteration. Anybody can misuse it. So computerized database provides centralized control of its operational data. Obviously, we can provide user ID and password method. Okay, cryptography. So many types of digital signature, so many types of data privacy protocols we can use. Thus, with the help of computerized database, what we can control? Redundancy is controlled. First of all, that means duplicacy. Inconsistency can be avoided. Integrity of data is maintained. Data can be shared. Security restrictions can be applied. Okay. Now here you can see that database management system, DBMS. A DBMS is a software that allows us to manage computerized databases. Okay. Relational database management systems are RDBMS. It is a DBMS based on relational model introduced EF code. EF code was the person who have applied so many types of protocols or systems to write in the relational database to improve the authenticity and integrity in the data. Okay. In fact, we can say that relational database always be rely on the rules, right, which was generated by EF code. Okay. Relational database is what? A relational database is a database in which data is organized into which two-dimensional table. Two-dimensional table means the combination of rows and columns. Okay. Is called relation. This is the another name of table. In our general life now, normally when you have to tabulate the data in the form of rows and columns, so you can say directly that it is a table generated. But in the database now, you can call the table by the another name, that is relation. As like this thing, right? There are the another name for rows and right, your columns as well. You can see here a table consists of rows, are also called tuples or record. There are two more means for rows. You can use tuple or records. Secondly, columns also called attributes and fields. Are you getting my point? So these things you have to revise, Lionel. Okay, because in question now, examiner can use these three terms. Either it can use tuple, record, rows, attribute. In fact, rows and columns they are not using because this is a different concept, right? This is the concept of DBMS.
Ma'am, DBMS is related to Microsoft Access?
No, you are going in your syllabus now. There is a Microsoft SQL is used. I am going to do the practical na in SQL only.
Okay.
Okay. So the following table consists of 3 fields: name, telephone, address, 2 rows. Okay. So name, telephone, addresses, and 2 rows are what you can see here. This is a very simple table in front of you. So can you tell me, Lionel, how many columns are in this?
3.
Okay. Can you give me the heading name of the columns?
Name, telephone, address.
Very good. And how many rows?
3.
No, 2 rows. Yes,
sorry,
there are
2.
3 rows, but data values are inside in the 2 rows.
Okay.
So, Abhishek and this number, Prem Nagar, this is the information which is organized as a data value. Okay. Now, schema. These are the few terms that you need to learn. What is schema? It is an important question for your theory exam as well. It refers to the organization of data or skeleton structure that represent the logical flow of entire database. कि जो भी आपका database है, that is the database. Okay, whatever the database you will be having now, schema always telling you the structure. If I am talking about this schema of this relation, okay, what is this? There are 3 tuples, okay, and how many rows are, how many attributes are there? There are, there are 2 tuples and there are 3 attributes, okay, or columns. We can say that. So this is the skeleton structure of your relation. That means a schema. Entity is what? An entity is a person or object, okay, physical or logical, for which we need to store data in a database. In a school, it can be a student, a teacher, a course, etc. In a library, an entity can be a book, a member, or book supplier. Okay. So entity is a person or book, object is what? Physical or logical, for which we need to store data in a database. That means if you are going to generate a database about library, okay, so what are the entities there? Their member, their books, okay, infrastructure, how many chairs, how many tables are there, how many readers can sit, okay, how many books have issued, how many books are there left in the stock, how many books are not returned on time, right, on their returning date. Okay, so this is all about what? These are the different entities now that we are going to use under a form of database. Now relation. Relation is what? A relation or a table is a collection of data, right, corresponding what? To the same kind of entities in a database. A relation may contain data of all books, all the books in a library, or data of all items in a shop, etc. A database contains one or more than one relation. Are you getting my point? Tuple, row, or record is what? A tuple corresponds to a row of a relation. A tuple contains data corresponding to an entity. The number of tuple in a relation is called the cardinality of relation. Okay, right? There is a 2 thing that you have to be understand. What is cardinality? Okay, and what is degree? Whatever the tuples and attribute, rows and column, a particular table contained, we have to count. A tuple corresponds to a rows of a relation. A tuple contains data corresponding to an entity. The number of tuple in a relation is called what? Cardinality. That means number of rows. And number of attributes or columns is called what? Degree. Are you getting my point? Is it clear to you?
Yes,
now
ma'am.
here you can see that domain is what? A domain of a column is a pool of values from which that column draws its actual values. Okay, for example, domain of the column roll number may be integer from 1 to 50. Okay, so domain of a column is a pool of values, right? That means whatever the values are inside. Key is what? A column or a combination of column which used to identify a row or tuple in a table is called a key. In general, any column or any combination of column is table is a key. Actually, this is the method which is used to provide the unique identity to the data. In the initial, we have learned now when we have to maintain the database, we have to maintain the integrity. This is the theory concept. But practically, when you have to do or store your table in a software, how will you maintain? With the help of key. Okay, and in database now, in relation database, there are different types of keys. The first key, which is mandatory for every relation, for every table, is primary key. Okay, that is the rule for database, relation database especially. In relation database now, You can generate n numbers of table. Okay, that is up to you. That is up to the strength of your database. But all the tables are related to each other. So how can you relate the table? With a concept of key. And primary key always be applied onto which column? Which is having unique data. If I will be taking the example of student table, like a student table having roll number, student name, their class, their section, their parent name detail, like mother name, father name, contact address, or right, contact number. Okay, so these information is stored in the student table. So can you tell me which column having the unique data? Roll number. So on that data we will apply what? We will apply the primary key. Are you getting my point? Now that's why they are telling to you the group of one or more column used to uniquely identify each row of relation is called its primary key. For example, in a student table, admission number, yes, admission number also will be a primary key, because doesn't matter how many students are in a school, but every student having their unique admission number. Is it true?
Yes.
Right? Okay. So we can apply primary key onto that type of column. Okay. We can't apply the primary key onto a column which is having a repetitive data. Name of the student can be repeat. Parent name can be repeat. Okay. Now next is your candidate key. Okay. So please understand candidate key. What is this? A field or combination of fields. Fields is what? Column. Combination of columns which can be used as a primary key of a relation, right, is called a candidate key, because it is one of the candidate available to be the primary key of the relation, right? A table may have multiple candidate keys. For example, in a student's table, admission number as well as combination, like you can see here, admission number alone, if we'll take admission number alone, right, it will be primary key. But we need candidate key. How can? You can see here, we will be applying combination like class, section, roll number are what? Candidate key. Okay. Now alternate key. Alternate key are what? Very simple. A table may have multiple candidate key. Obviously, in the previous example, you have seen there are three combinations comprising, right? So a table may have multiple candidate keys. What? One of these keys become primary key. That means if we'll formulate these candidate key in a different columns. So in that combination, there is one column who is primary key. So all the remaining candidate key are called alternate key. That means if we'll pick, right, in this group, if I will be pick a primary key, suppose roll number is primary key. Okay, so these two keys, class and section, will be alternate key, and they will combiningly work as a candidate key. Is that clear to you, Lionel?
Yes, ma'am.
Alternate key, right? So when we make a group of candidate key now, so in that group, one column name right as a primary key, and rest of the columns are alternate key, and combiningly they will working as a candidate key. Now foreign key. Foreign key is what? Suppose there are two tables. Okay, just have a look here. In this table, this is the primary key. In this table, this is the primary key. Suppose this is the parent table and this is the child table. So in this child table now, the primary key is also be the present of in parent key. That means there are the two same columns. Okay, right? Working in the parent key as a normal column, but this is what? This is the, actually this is a reference key, right? So this type of relation will formulate what? Foreign key. Are you getting my point? So indirectly, this table is related to This one. Is it clear to you? A group of one or more column in a table, which is used to set relationship of this table with some other table. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So how many types of keys we have learned? Primary key, candidate key, alternate key, or foreign key. Right. Now Cartesian product. And two more terms we have learned now. Number of rows, number of tuples are what? Cardinality. Number of attributes what? Degree. That means number of columns is what?